Nope, I wouldn't buy this one, and for just one simple reason. But let me just start with the review of the Merida CycloCross 400, and then I'm gonna tell you why. The objective part, so the facts. And the facts are, this is a pretty good bike. I've been training on this bike for cyclocross and for my cross-country season. I also did participate in the cyclocross event on this bike, and it was pretty cool. The bike is quite well. We have the alloy frame, we have full carbon fork, we have tapered steer, which is good, and then the through axle in the front, no through axle in the rear. Bit more about that in the subjective part. You are paying just about $1,500 for the bike, and it's spec'd with let's say most of the Shimano 105 components. So we have the shifters 105, the derailleurs, the cassette. So this is the 11-speed setup, 2x11. I wouldn't use 1x for cyclocross. The pros, they do, I wouldn't. And the crankset is some lower model, but thank God it's not the Octalink, it's the Holotech system 2-piece crankset, but at this price point should be like that. And as for the brakes, I would say if you are gonna go cheap for the mechanical disc brakes, the Tektro Spire will do the job. I'm not gonna focus on all the parts, so you can just Google it up on the Merida site, what kind of tires they are, and some other small components. I'm gonna talk about what's important for you as a buyer. The wheels, I'm not a great fan of Merida's wheels. I'm not even sure whether these are the expert or comp rims and the hubs. The wheels which are made by Merida are almost never 100% true when I get the bike with those. This was the new bike, so nobody was riding the bike before me. And then the free hub on those sometimes is pretty loud. It's like feels like really dry inside. So that's something I would say weak point of this bike. Otherwise, you know, they take the abuse. They took the really rough terrain. It was very cold, so the ground was completely frozen, and I said that mountain bike would be better for that type of the course. This one just took the abuse. It's okay, but the wheels, let's say this is the weakest spot of this bike. What I also like about this bike and its features is the cable routing. As you can see, this is very neatly done. So all the cables are routed inside the frame, which is very important for the cyclocross. You don't want to have mud sticking to the cables, but none of the cables is touching to the head tube of the frame, which is great. You don't even have to put any protection on the frame. This is something that still the modern bikes lack so much, so I like it here. The subjective part, so what I think. This is the old school approach. It's like with the cross-country bikes when I was 16. It was 20 years ago. We were using cross-country, not even hardtail, but the rigid bikes for everything. We were training on those, we were racing cross-country, and then we were going for all the trips, we were commuting on the bikes. They were just all-rounders because there was no other type of bikes for that purpose. Cyclocross bikes used to be the commuters and bikepacking bikes and the cyclocross racing events. As you can see, you have all the eyelets, you can put the mud guards, you can put all the equipment for your bikepacking on the bike, but the geometry is not the best for that. You need to sit higher so that you can really use the dropper handlebars on your bike. That's why I would not buy cyclocross bike. Let's look at the competitors. Here is our Merida CycloCross 400. Its price is about $1,500. Let's see what the competitors do offer. Scott Speedster. Scott have really nice range of the both gravel and cyclocross bikes. Speedster CX20 disc will cost also about $1,500, but will come with Shimano Tiagra, so 2x10 drivetrain, not 2x11. It will also have the mechanical disc brakes. Then we cannot forget about the Ridley. I'm not sure about the graphics. Many of the Ridley bikes don't have graphics that I would like, but Ridley do make great bikes. Here we have the Disc 105 HDP X-Ride. and this one will be more expensive because it comes with different specs, but this one, for example, is 1,700 euros, so about $1,900 or so. Also 105 one-by drivetrain hydraulic disc brakes, a bit different than this one, but Ridley will be more expensive. And then the Stevens, nice looking bikes, the Stevens Gaver, do we read it like that? Same price, $1,500, and pretty same level of the components. So also 2x11 drivetrain, nice looking cyclocross bike. But the biggest and the most dangerous competitor for the Merida CycloCross is the Merida itself. They've made their CX entry-level bikes very strong competition, which is the Silex line of the bikes. This is the gravel bike, and this bike does exactly what some budget CX bikes buyers would expect to. You can commute on this bike, you can ride very comfortably for many hours, you can go for bike packing. It will give you the many options to put anything you want on the bike, and this bike will feel pretty good on the road and off the tarmac, and will give you much better position in terms of your handlebars. So more upright. This is not the cyclocross fast and nimble position. This will be more stable and just nice to ride, especially long rides, but commuting as well. Who should consider buying this one? And that's the whole point of this review. This is a good bike, but I wouldn't buy it because I would buy the bike only if I was to be racing in the cyclocross, which I'm not doing. Sometimes I can do it for fun. I can even take my mountain bike for fun. I can take a testing bike and do 1 or 2 races during the winter. I am not cyclocross racer. And what I would recommend you guys is, if you are solely focusing on cyclocross racing, buy a cyclocross bike, and Merida CycloCross 400 will be very nice entry-level bike. But I'm pretty sure most of you guys are not cyclocross racers. You want to have pretty versatile bike, good for the road and good for the trips, and maybe sometimes you would take part in some cyclocross race or a gravel grinding race. And now you know where I'm getting, because you know already about the competitors. I would much rather buy from Merida the Silex by far. Why is it so? This bike is going to give you everything, but it just won't, because it has to be pretty good in the cyclocross races. And if you were to buy a gravel bike like the Silex, it will be more stable because it will be a bit longer, but also it will be much higher. So you're gonna sit in a much more comfortable position, which is suitable for everyday riding, for bike packing. So Silex will be super cool for that. I hope my message was pretty clear to you guys. If not, ask me some questions in the comments and I'm gonna try to answer those. That's it for the Merida CycloCross 400 review.